Colin was right?
All my concerns with Brian Schottenheimer have surfaced. With extra time to prepare, that offensive performance, 2 for 12 on third down, just not good enough. 6-7-1. They're now a bad red zone team, 18th in the league. And again, that's with Dak. That's with a run game. That's with elite wide receivers. They're just not a consistent team. I do think the future is brighter than many believe. But all the things we worried about, getting out coached in big spots, situationally being mid, they've all surfaced.
Hold on a moment. Just hold on. Goodness gracious. Colin was recently extolling the virtues of the Dallas Cowboys, labeling them as legitimate championship contenders. He asserted that Dak Prescott is performing at the highest level of his career, and that Mike McCarthy has proven himself. A point where, in retrospect, he acknowledged being mistaken, but now seems to be claiming he was ultimately correct all along. It's a bit, what does that even signify? I'm genuinely struggling to parse the logic there. Honestly, I find myself quite conflicted regarding this specific situation, because once again, I am a staunch advocate for the ability to revise one's opinions. I do it constantly. I frequently state this. I can shift my perspective mid-sentence. That's a primary reason I engage with the comments you all leave. They often prompt me to reconsider. I adjust my viewpoints regularly, constantly. I formulate my analyses, and that's precisely why I appreciate listening to so many other perspectives, through comments, podcasts, television, etc. I absorb them. I ponder. Do I concur? Do I dissent? Do I agree partially? I attempt to synthesize everything, to assemble a coherent picture, utilizing numerous resources rather than anchoring myself rigidly to my initial feelings or conclusions. Therefore, I can comprehend entering a season with the opinion, I believe the Cowboys won't be particularly strong. Then, if they begin to impress, you might think, wow, Mike McCarthy is demonstrating excellent coaching. I'm genuinely surprised. However, if they subsequently drop a couple of games, the impulse might be, see, my original skepticism was justified. That specific intellectual pivot is what I find difficult to reconcile. I truly don't know how to rationalize it. I'm endeavoring to figure it out. I believe it's acceptable to oscillate in one's assessment. People often criticize that as flip-flopping. I disagree with that characterization. While I understand why they say it, I maintain it's perfectly reasonable to continue evolving your opinion throughout the duration of a season. I simply think we must exercise greater care and patience before arriving at those firm, definitive, plant-your-flag conclusions about any subject. So, to me, the process should be more measured. Perhaps you didn't believe McCarthy and the Cowboys would excel. Let's focus on the offensive side. You didn't anticipate them being particularly potent offensively. Then they commence play. They start securing victories or simply appear efficient on offense. And you think, actually, this is operating quite effectively. I genuinely like McCarthy's play calling. I believe he's executing a commendable job maintaining the team's focus, etc. In that moment, you could concede, I was mistaken. I now believe he is a competent coach. At that juncture, you might remain cautiously optimistic, retaining some questions, or you could firmly conclude, you know what? He has genuinely impressed me. I anticipated a disaster, but it's not. This is functioning very well. But then, if the team encounters a brief 2-game losing streak, the reaction becomes, no, I'm reverting to my original stance. I don't think they're good, while simultaneously avoiding full acknowledgement of having been momentarily convinced. It transforms into a claim of having been correct perpetually. That's a challenging, almost contradictory position to occupy. It's a difficult transition to go from proclaiming, this Cowboys squad is among the most formidable in the NFL, to, no, they're not that impressive, etc. That's a substantial swing. That's a tough intellectual leap to make. Yeah, I'm merely processing this aloud in real time. I genuinely am. This was unquestionably a difficult defeat for Dallas. No doubt about it. J.J. McCarthy was practically an internet joke. People were ridiculing him and the Minnesota Vikings, yet the Cowboys lost. McCarthy was making more significant throws than Dak Prescott. This isn't to suggest Prescott was the issue. He wasn't. Nor was Mike McCarthy singularly the problem, or the specific decision to attempt a fake field goal. If Dallas had won, that same gamble would be hailed as, that's McCarthy. He's aggressive. He takes risks. No one anticipated that. It was the game-winning play. Therefore, We cannot perpetually judge decisions solely by their outcomes. I'm not prepared to assert that a single game like this definitively proves McCarthy is inadequate or the defense is atrocious. This circles back to my initial preseason analysis, which allows me a certain validation. I stated I believed the offense would be reasonably proficient. Dak is too talented and has too many weapons for it to be catastrophic. But that the defense was absolutely dreadful, and that responsibility ultimately fell on the front office. Jerry Jones deserves credit for team building historically, but I argued they were squandering one of Prescott's prime seasons. That perspective has aged even more accurately, because many assumed Prescott could perform at this elite level indefinitely. My point was, you never know what will transpire. Then, of course, situations like Micah Parsons's emerge. You simply never know. This was a year where, offensively, they had the capacity to compete, but they failed to adequately address the defensive side. The adjustments came too late. Had they been more astute earlier in the season, they could have absorbed these kinds of tough, seemingly random losses. The narrative could have been, all right, that was a bad loss, but we're only a game out of the wild card, or a game behind Philadelphia. We can still win the division. That was a failure in roster management, poor team construction. And yes, I find myself validated on another front. When they defeated Philadelphia, Kansas City, and Las Vegas, I urged everyone to temper their enthusiasm. The widespread sentiment was, the defense is back. It's amazing. These changes have fixed everything. My response was, your defensive statistics are currently inflated due to performances against the Raiders, a terrible offensive team, and the Eagles, arguably the most inconsistent and erratic offense in the entire league. Commentary suggested you can't run on this team now, while ignoring that Philadelphia and Las Vegas ranked among the very worst rushing attacks, leading the NFL in carries, resulting in negative yardage. My advice was to relax. Even the victory over Kansas City, which I acknowledged was impressive, came with the caveat, who are the Chiefs right now? This isn't the Kansas City dynasty we've known. That perspective ultimately proved correct. Now they lose to Detroit and Minnesota. This sequence exemplifies why patience is prudent. It's okay to be hesitant. It's acceptable to allow both positive and negative performances to accumulate before drawing grand conclusions. Consider my approach. When commentators were eager to praise them, I suggested, can we relax? I think we require more data. Now, as they lose, the same voices declare, I told you they were terrible. To which I again respond, I think we need to relax here as well. Can we also chill? This current skid isn't necessarily a final indictment of Mike McCarthy. That might not be entirely fair. I've actually appreciated how Dak has performed. Let's just take a breath. If anything, their primary issue yesterday was red zone efficiency. That was the most glaring problem. But yeah, the Cowboys truly are the perpetual enigma. Annually, with perhaps last season as an exception, they foster genuine belief that they are on the cusp of conquering the NFC. I recall analysis mapping out scenarios where everything would hinge on the final regular season game. If anything, McCarthy and the Cowboys deserve criticism for a glaring lack of preparedness yesterday. That's what struck me while reviewing the game. It was profoundly disappointing. I was surprised by the absence of intensity, aggressiveness, or a palpable, we are here to win, we are seizing a playoff spot, we are capitalizing on Philadelphia's stumbles mentality. The atmosphere lacked playoff desperation. That falls, at least partially, on the coaching staff. It's always complex. Sometimes a coach masterfully rallies the troops, and other times, despite identical preparation, the players simply aren't mentally ready. Without being in the locker room, we can only speculate. Nevertheless, that lack of fire is more disheartening than any third down conversion rate. Where was the urgency, the passion, the aggressive intent, the attitude of, we are here to dominate. We are the most dangerous team in the league right now. We can outscore anyone. Our defense has improved. Is it Denver or Houston's caliber? No. But with our support for Dak, a top-tier NFL quarterback, let's go. That spirit was missing. The manner in which Dallas played yesterday suggested both teams were merely thinking, yeah, isn't it fun we get to play football? We're probably not making the playoffs. We're not winning a Super Bowl this year. But hey, we still got paid millions for today. Life is fantastic. I'll go home to my mansion, eat a $200 steak prepared by my private chef, get a massage, binge watch shows with my spouse. Tomorrow I'll get a proper massage and some physical therapy. Monday will be a light day. What do I want for breakfast? Definitely eggs, bacon, home fries. That was the vibe. It felt like clocking in, clocking out, having some fun, making a few plays, attempting a trick play, looking forward to removing the pads. Like a satisfying workout. You know the feeling after a good workout, when you've earned the right to lounge, eat a hearty meal, do your laundry, shower, and feel that pleasant fatigue. You think, my chores are done, I took care of myself, and you look forward to a manageable tomorrow. That's what this game felt like. And that's the fundamental problem, more than any strategic failing. Now I've made myself hungry. I haven't eaten, so perhaps I'm just craving food and a massage. But those are simply my reflections. I would absolutely appreciate hearing yours. What are everyone's thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys falling to a 6-7-1 record? One of the most amusing observations I saw was that the Cowboys can't even execute the classic 6-7-1 meme correctly. That was hilarious. Let me know your perspectives in the comments below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or challenge me, let's engage in some dialogue. Let's have some heated debates, but ultimately, let's simply enjoy the discourse. Please consider subscribing. We are fostering an incredible community here and would absolutely adore having you participate. I aim to build something we all feel a genuine connection to, something we're truly enthusiastic about being part of. I believe we are making significant progress toward that goal. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely assists with visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you so very much.